All right, so I'm doing a lot of troubleshooting here, but it's the kind of thing you folks might have to do too. I had to go through a VPN because the City College blocks HTTP traffic on port 8000. They block a lot of things on the wireless network here, like a lot of people do. But I saw it worked now, so I should be able to load that site now. There we are. So this is my cloud server connected on port 8000, and I called myself admin and password. So I'm in. All right, and this server will move because it's running on an Intel processor. So now I have to repeat project 3 to 4. You can't do anything until you have the data. So I don't need to tour. I need to upload. Okay, and so now the instructions are here. Let me close unnecessary tabs. Off what? Offline. Where something said offline? Where?
Oh, the stream.
Oh, there. Oh, maybe I just need to refresh it. Good point. Apparently I am online. Yeah, but because I was off for a while, and this browser often doesn't refresh. Good. Thank you for telling me. All right. So here, now I'm going to import the data, which is first. I'm not going to bother creating that account. We don't really need it, but we do need the data. And the data is the access 30-day log.
Hey, Sam.
Yeah.
Question about the data. Every time we open Splunk, like when we close, what are we calling it, a session or whatever, are we having to re-import the data,
No.
or is it always there?
It's always there. And if you do re-import it, you'll have 2 copies.
Okay.
Yeah. So just once, of course. You only import it once per, but this is a fresh install. That's why I have to do it. And now, instead of freezing for like a whole minute here, it should happen pretty fast. Yep, there it goes. Now I can go next. And now I can give it the source type is fine. The name of the thing is that web application. And submit. There we go. Good. This is what I wanted. Now, the next one is Linux S. And I have to choose Linux Secure and give it this name. So it's, all right, processing, but it should not take for too long. Uh-huh. It lost a connection because of my VPN. I just wanted to run top here to verify that it's doing something, which I imagine it is. %, CPU. Splunk using 2% CPU. Splunk uses a lot of Python. Yeah, so it's doing things. Here's Splunk at 7, Splunk at 2. Mongo is database used by Splunk 2. Splunk has a whole lot of processes running. Doesn't seem to be CPU limited anymore, though. Maybe it's slow to write. These are all running on SSDs. They really have no business being this slow. Well, this is pretty annoying how slow everything is being. And there's no excuse for being so slow. It's not really very busy. You have 95% idle. The CPU is not too busy. I don't think the hard disk is full. No, it's only half full. So, I don't know. It has no excuse for being so slow. Wonder what happens if I refresh the page. All right, hopefully the data went up there. We're going to find out. Let's try the next one, which was Linux Secure. I have the feeling it just hung on loading the last page because it really wouldn't have took that long to process. All right. Linux Secure. See, that part doesn't take very long at all, so I don't know what that garbage was. I got to choose operating systems, Linux Secure. Okay. And then this one is named Web Server. And review and submit. All right. All right, and I'll give it a little while, and then I'm going to just refresh it, and we'll find out at the end whether the data is actually going up there. It seems to have a problem sending the next page, which may have something to do with the VPN. I'm not sure what's causing this, but there's always problems. That's why they pay us the big bucks. Nothing ever works right. Everything always has weird error messages. What I'm going to do is I'll let that go, and I'll just open another tab to start the next one. That seems like that might be a more orderly way to proceed. I guess you can have two administrator connections to the machine at the same time. We'll see. Because I'm very skeptical that's still processing. I think it's just for some reason failing to show me the last window. So the last one is the DB audit, and quite a few things. So it's DB audit, and the name of it is, I need to create a new source type. Okay, so at first it's DB audit. Okay. Okay, now I need to create a new source type. So Splunk automatically selected a type of CSV. Okay. I want to create a new source type, so I do save as. Okay, and here's where I have to fill in this stuff. The name is DB audit. The description is Postgres audit log. All right. Category database system. Database system. Okay. Good. Save. Okay. Then next, database, review, submit. Next, database, review, submit. Okay. And like I say, it seems to always get stuck on that page. I think it's actually put in the data, it's just not letting me see it. So let's see if that's true. I'm going to try to do a query and see how many records there are. Okay, go to search. All right. And the data should appear here, a list of all the available data. Maybe I'll try this just to see if I can wake it up. Search for everything. Search not executed. The minimum free disk space is not enough. Reached. Okay, there is some way around this.
So I have the same problem, but then when I click the data summary button, it does list the 3 different data sources.
Yeah, there's also a way to get it to stop this. One way is to increase the disk space of the machine, but the other is to just turn off some kind of thing. There's a way to do this. There. Limits. The relevant stanza. This can be changed. Value can be changed. For more details, go here. There is a way to change it, and I think it might even be in the GUI. All right, see how to change minimum disk space. It's a way to do it. I've done it before for Splunk. Splunk web interface, settings, server settings, general settings. That's what I thought. It's actually in the GUI. So it's settings, server settings, general, under index settings, general.
Is that from the main page? Because I can't find the settings.
You go to settings up here in the top right.
Yeah, and then I don't see
Then,
general.
then server settings. Settings, server
I
settings.
have search and reports, data modules, events, tags, fields, lookups, user interface, advanced search.
Let me go here. If you go settings, and then server settings here.
Why does my UI not look like yours?
I've seen that happen sometimes where this doesn't populate. You don't get any of this? I've seen that happen before.
Maybe
And
it's because I'm under a user name named uname, not admin.
that could be it, I suppose. Yeah, you should log in as admin. That might be it. Anyway, so I should be able to fix this one with server settings, general settings, under indexing. There. Pause indexing, a free space below this value. So I can change that value and make it smaller, like 1,000.
Sorry,
There.
Sam, what is the username and password that you have set up for the class? Because I had to change it when I...
There was something called Buttercup or something that was not a Power Administrator, but when you're...
When you're in the boss of the SOC page, it's all listed.
Yeah. When you're boss of the SOC, it's all you're always the administrator. Oh, if you're using the boss of the SOC, those pages have vanished like a couple of years ago, and I don't know why. That's something wrong with that boss of the SOC installation. Probably because it degenerated to a free version.
All right,
If
well,
the one,
maybe I'll talk about this after you're done.
yeah, this should have fixed that problem, and that might be what's freezing up these things. Now I might have to restart the server after this. I wouldn't be surprised. Then restart the server, right? Save and restart the indexer. I don't know how to restart the indexer in particular, but let me make sure I did it. General settings. I may have failed to hit a save button somewhere. General settings, 1,000, save. Okay, I don't remember if I hit save. I suppose I did because the 1,000 was still there. And now I have to restart Splunk, which is up here, settings. Settings? Oh, there we are. Settings, server controls. And restart Splunk. There. And that is probably why the add data froze up, because it hit that limit. It was not indexing the data correctly. So hopefully it will not make me add the data again. We're going to see. Yeah, those are several gotchas to see. And all of them come from us running it on small, weak machines. And the enterprises use big, powerful machines that blow past this. But this is the way training always is. You try to train on small, cheap machines as much as possible. All right, there we are. It started up again, so I log in. And let's see if I have my data. I go to search. And I was hoping to get a data summary. Here we are. Data summary, that's a good sign. There should be 3 things, and it looks like I only got one of them. So the other imports failed. Access combined with cookie. Let's see if that one's right. It's not. It didn't get enough. Okay, so they aren't all there. And so, by the way, this is an issue that happens to students sometimes. They have to delete the data. Deleting data is quite a chore. And I think I added it to this project because it was, maybe not. But anyway, here's how to delete data. Let me just demonstrate how to delete data from Splunk. And it can be done. Yep. You have to give yourself delete permissions. And they failed to tell you that here, but anyway, I know how to do it. I'm just going to demonstrate it. Wait, that's up to 9100. That's still not enough, I think. It should be like 131,000. That's what I thought. So I don't think it's indexing still. Yeah, so the data somehow didn't get up there, so I got to fix that. So I got to delete data. So what you have to do is go settings, and then users, because they don't want you casually deleting data. So you have permissions here, and see, I am admin, but I don't have can delete. You have to add to yourself the can delete permission. Now you have the ability to delete data, and you have to acknowledge that users assigned to roles with the consent results, okay, whatever this garbage is, okay. All right, now the administrator has can delete permission, and now I can go back and do a search from here.
Sorry, Sam.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out my own problem and follow along, but it says in the directions for Module 3 that
Yeah.
I'm looking at here that we are supposed to create our own password with assigned admin, power user.
Right, power user is different than admin. And they want you to use a power user. In their instructions, you make a power user and use that account, but you don't really have to. You can just do everything as admin.
Oh, okay. Well, I think what I've done is I've created this uname file with a password 5P.
Right, and then you're going to have to also log in as admin to do this kind of
So
stuff.
I just tried logging in as admin with the
Yeah.
permissions that are listed at the beginning of Module 3.4,
Yeah.
and it's saying I can't log in. So
Right, you probably have to, maybe you forgot the password you defined when you installed Splunk. And if that's true, there is a way to reset the password from the command line.
Okay. Well, we can work
Yeah,
on that
yeah,
after you're done
yeah.
here.
All right, good. Anyway, so here, and now I think, now, I can go back to how do I delete data. Now that I have the permissions, search for events. Once you've done it, pipe the search to delete. There, okay. So I search. Star will find everything. Star of all time. Okay. And it found 9,100 events, which actually make me wonder if it's in fact indexing the stuff correctly. That's still not enough. I think I was supposed to have like 131,000. Okay, so it didn't get all the events. So now I'm just going to do star pipe delete. There we go. And then run that. And, all right. I guess it worked. I thought there might be a warning message or something. Now if I do star, there's 0 events. Okay. Now, again, I have to do the imports. So it is add data. And I don't know data. Data inputs. Okay, I need to add data, which I haven't found yet. If I hit the Splunk, does it take me back to the page? There, now there's the add data. There we are. All right. So once again, now I finally have a good installation. This should not take too long. So it's okay. I add access 30-day with this name. Okay. So access 30-day. All right. And that's fine. And this is the name. Okay, and hopefully it'll actually upload an index and not freeze up on me now. This is unfortunately the case with a lot of enterprise class software. You know, it froze up because it ran out of space and it did not tell me that. This is very common. If you configure Cisco routers or enterprise servers of any kind, this happens all the time. They fail and they don't give you much of a clue what the problem is because they're not really consumer software. So they never really make them user-friendly in that regard. Setting up the Splunk is not something a beginner would do. When you get a job at a company, you'll be a security analyst and it'll all be set up. You'll just be using it. The setup can get pretty confusing, and as you can see. And that's because the setup is not a task for beginners, really. Now, I wonder if the stream is still running because it looks like my network bandwidth is poor. Okay, the stream still says it's going. Well, that's good. Man.
It's got a really tightly wound electric motor out there.
Well, I guess it's all those electric cars now. I remember when they brought out the Tesla, one problem is it was so quiet, people didn't hear it coming, so they had to add a noise.
That's what I was about to say. I'm pretty sure a lot of those electric car noises are sound engineered noises.
They're totally fake because Elon Musk wanted it to be farting, and they had to talk him out of that and make it like a whine. You know, you can tell that's his problem in life is he's just sort of immature. You know.
That's not his only problem.
I know, but you know, it seems to be the case. All right, so now that's uploaded. Good. Add more data. Good. That's what I wanted. It actually finished. Life is good. So now the next one is at Linux, and that I choose Linux Secure and name it this name. Okay, so it's Linux. And choose Linux Secure and give it this name. And that should do it for this one. All right. Yeah, notice how it went that fast this time. The previous one took a lot longer. The network seems to be kind of random. Now add more data. Okay, and the third one is DB audit, and this is where I have to save source and fill in several fields. So it's
Now, Sam, you mentioned a minute ago that, you know, a company would have all this set up. We still need to be, you know, maybe the installation is done, but we still need to be selective on how we add data and what data we look for, because we can't always assume that all of the data sources are just going to be in Splunk, or can we?
yes, normally that will all be set up by someone else, just like all the Active Directory accounts. A person with a higher level of certification will set this up, and they'll configure it. You won't be adding sources typically; you'll be using it.
Right, and so just so I'm clear on like the hierarchy here, once we've added the data sources there effectively in Splunk's index.
That's right, and it's constantly updating too. That's why the only person that would do that would be like a network engineer when you have another location or another server or something.
This is what I was going to eventually get to, is that
Yeah.
theoretically, I know we're working on a fake version,
Yeah,
blah, 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 but once you're whoever's managing your data logs
Yeah.
has done their job,
Yeah.
you're getting this refreshed on some interval.
Right.
Sometimes you say it's minute to minute, second to second to second.
Yeah, usually real time, essentially. Yeah, yeah, that's right. And just like you don't set up the routing tables or lay the cables, you don't set up this. This is all set up by your infrastructure team. And that's
Well, if
not.
you're running one of those small businesses you mentioned, it might be set
Yes,
by you.
yes, that's right. If you work at small business, you just do everything. That's why I remember I did that for years, and at the end I was going to college, and they wanted my job title, and I never had one. And the boss said, give yourself any title you want, because everybody does everything. So I said, I'm a DBA, I guess, but.
I'm sure you've experienced this
Yeah.
too, because I certainly have, working within small teams at big companies, where
Yep.
maybe you have big umbrella resources, but you don't have specific resources for the specific thing that you're trying to do. So
Yep.
then, once again, everyone is laying cable and doing these various things. Although,
Yep.
I will say that if you're you know, if you're in like certainly a place that's governed by a company infrastructure, like on a campus or something, usually that kind of stuff is unusual.
Yep, and that's the issue. I mean, huge companies, big corporations actually have job roles and have enough people, and you actually do one thing, and it's like related to your certification. At small to medium business, you're just the tech guy, and you do
Well,
everything.
again, I think it, like, because I've gone and set up offices which have some basic infrastructure support.
Yeah.
But then there's a lot of like, oh, I'm moving tables and chairs around, you
Yep.
know, kind of stuff.
Yep. So if I go here and then search, I should get the page that has the data summary. And now I should see bigger numbers. There we go, 131,000, that's a good number. There should be three numbers here. 131,000, 63,000, and this is the flag. Good. Okay, so now I finally got the data in there. Good. Now, let me stop this recording, which is sort of a horrible mess.